This was the talker for most of the night. Biden versus Ryan. The two vice presidential candidates went head-to-head in their one and only debate.
We have a team of specialists following tonight's debate, which covered a lot of issues.
Jennifer Stagg is following what's turning out to be an important part of this election, social media. But let's begin with Richard Pyatt, our political specialist.
Well, what do you think?
Well, I think that this debate is going to, who won this debate
Right.
is the question everyone's asking, and who won depends on who you support to begin with. And in a lot of cases, people think that Joe Biden won. There are mixed reviews on who won there. Joe Biden's delivery was aggressive. It was kind of contemptuous at times. But at the same time, Paul Ryan was very solid, very sure of himself throughout the whole thing. And I think that a lot of Republicans really liked what he had to say too. It's a possibility that Joe Biden turned off some people because of his perpetual grin that he kept exhibiting.
One of the most talked about
and
features.
and interrupting people is never a good idea as well.
Yeah, not over a 90-minute debate over and over and over. Let's see. So CNN calls it a draw. CNBC gives it to Ryan by a lot, and then CBS gives it to Biden. So where do we go from here? Did we learn anything that might actually affect the vote come November?
Well, that's going to be the question, of course. The question about each of these debates is it moving that central core of independent voters who have not yet made up their minds and who are very fluid and fluctuate very wildly, as we've seen after the last presidential debate. Now, with this debate, this is merely I think a lot of analysts are already saying, and a lot of social media that Jen will talk about in just a bit, are already saying that this is probably buying President Obama a little bit more time to kind of shore up his argument, because Joe Biden's arguments tonight were so much stronger than the president himself made last week. Now, next week is going to be very telling, because the president gets to talk about foreign policy himself. Both camps are getting very prepared about this. Paul Ryan was carrying around 40 pounds of documents or whatever to get prepared for this too. So this is the kind of thing that each step of the way there's a minimal change, but it's all an important change because it's all about momentum right now.
Brings together the whole package.
That's right.
Okay,
All right,
thanks,
Richard,
Rich.
thank you for your insights. Mike, last week it was Big Bird after the debate. Any social media highlights in this debate?
Oh, you bet. Lots of people. I mean, if you watch Twitter or Facebook this evening, I mean, it was blowing up really all night long during the hour-and-a-half debate. It was fun to watch. Jen Stagg's been watching it. She watched it very closely for us this evening. What were your thoughts?
Well, we asked you right at the very beginning of the newscast, if you could sum it up in one word, what would it be? What was it for you?
For me, I'd probably say safe. I think both of them tried to make sure that they got their point across, went to their own constituents, their own party, but don't mess up. That's kind of how I felt.
Well, that's a good one, but we've had a lot of people say malarkey.
Malarkey, huh?
That's the word that sums it up for them. More responses coming in right now on our KSL Facebook page. Awkward. That's one right there. Biden is another one. Snooze fest. That's an interesting one right there. Dentures. A lot of people referencing Joe Biden's teeth. That was a big talker during the debate, certainly his facial expressions. Now we want to ask you another question. Respond on KSL's Facebook page or use the Twitter hashtag KSL Politics. And that question is, what was the moment from the presidential debate? Now let's see if your responses match up with the responses that made Twitter light up. Here is one of those moments right now. Take a look.
Romney's a good man. He cares about 100% of Americans in this country. And with respect to that quote, I think the vice president very well knows that sometimes the words don't come out of your mouth the right way.
But I always say what I mean.
That was probably the moment right there that got the most laughs, and that's when Twitter really had a spike right there, Mike. According to Politicket, Twitter saw more than 4 million tweets this evening, and 3.5 million of those occurred just during the time of the debate. So a lot of people online. Joe Biden had more mentions on Twitter than Paul Ryan did, and just as during the last debate, we had new Twitter accounts pop up. Like last time it was Fired Big Bird, the Twitter handle @Fired Big Bird. This time we had @Smiling Joe Biden, and also Joe Biden's teeth. Again, a lot of people referencing his facial expressions. Also, a lot of references online to Ryan's drink sipping. He was kind of drinking out of that cup over and over throughout the debate.
It's an interesting cup, I thought. I've never seen a cup like that.
And a lot of very small sips over and over again. Now, we want to toss another question out to you, and it's a very simple one. We want you to go to KSL's Facebook page right now and chime in on our poll. And we're just asking simply, who won the debate? Who do you think won between the two candidates? A lot of people online saying it was basically a tie. A lot of the online chatter was matching up with that. But a lot of people talking about Biden's aggressiveness. That was something that came across a lot, about how many times the two candidates interrupted each other. A lot of people saying that this was a very, very different debate than the last one, especially for President Obama's campaign.
Yeah, it depends which party. Some say interruption, the Republicans. Democrats say interjection. Okay, so it's all on the spin, isn't it? And you saw a lot of that on Twitter and Facebook as well.
Well, I mean, people who are tweeting obviously have an agenda. They're tweeting for their candidate most likely, but a lot of people definitely commenting on mainly on Biden's facial expressions. That was a big one.
Yeah, social media definitely makes it a lot more fun, I think. So, all right, guys, with that, we'll send it back over to you.
All right. Can't wait to see the comedy show spins on it now.
Yeah, SNL will be good this week.
Yeah.
I tweeted out runaway train. For a while there, I wasn't quite sure which direction it was going for either side. So what's next? Well, how about the second presidential debate?